Hello to everyone. My name is Svetlana, as you may know already. For different years, I'm working with Dr. Filonov, collaborating with him. And usually you get used to see testimonials from our retreats. And from time to time, we are happy, really happy to share someone's results that a lot of people require to listen so much.
Mm.
And I totally understand them. So today we have Rio that has been with us in last October, so 1 year ago, in October 2023. And recently she shared very good news, great news, I would say. So I wanted she to start telling her story by herself. Tell us about you, your medical issues, your healing journey before knowing, discovering dry fasting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hi everybody. I in 2015 realized I had Lyme disease and many co-infections. And so since then, I had been trying to take care of my body with herbal medicine and nutrition. And I did that for many years from 2015 until now.
How did you
But
realize that you had Lyme? Let's start from the beginning.
yeah, so I realized I had Lyme disease in the beginning because I was studying herbal medicine, and my herbalism teacher um, had years of experience with herbal medicine, and the symptoms that he was talking about seemed to me like that was Lyme disease. I actually didn't get testing at the time. It felt intuitive that that was what was happening
So in
for me.
2015, have you been bitten by tick?
No, no, I had not been bitten by a tick, but my partner at the time had Lyme disease.
Mhm.
hmm So it's possible that I may have been bitten by a tick when I was a child, growing up in Connecticut. Um, and it's also possible that I got Lyme disease from my partner. Um, yeah, or that I got a tick bite when I didn't know. But I started to get really sick that summer with brain fog, memory issues, exhaustion, like chronic fatigue, all of those symptoms. And my partner did have Lyme disease and did get tested. And so I just started to take herbs for it right away. Um, for many years, I took very specific herbal protocols because I was studying herbal medicine. I did really, nourishing nutrition, organic food, just tried to be really disciplined and taking care of myself in all of those ways. Um,
Why didn't you
and
try regular protocols for healing Lyme disease?
I didn't try antibiotics because my herbalism teacher said that once you already have Lyme disease, the antibiotics are not as effective. And in general, I just didn't trust Western medicine. I had never had a good experience with the Western medical system. And so, because I was trying to do things holistically, I
Mhm.
just went the route that I knew. I also didn't have health insurance at the time, and so I didn't have the option to see a Western doctor, but I also didn't want to at the time.
But did you believe you could heal yourself with herbs or
Yes.
maintain heal?
hmm Yeah, I did. And throughout those years, my symptoms improved a lot. From
Mhm.
2015 until 2021, my symptoms had gotten a lot better with herbs and nutrition and taking good care in a lot of ways. But at that time, I felt like my immune system was still struggling a lot. All of my other symptoms had gone away, but I would get sick all the time really easily. My immune system was not strong. And I thought there must be something better. Like my health could be better.
You were
Um,
constantly on herbs?
Not for Lyme disease. At one point, I stopped taking the protocols for Lyme disease, but I took herbs all the time just for general health.
Mhm.
hmm Yeah, so I did specific herbal protocols for Lyme disease from 2015 until about 2017. And my symptoms improved a lot from that. Um, but then, yeah, like I said, I would get sick all the time very easily. If I was like very, even far away from someone who was sick, I would get sick almost immediately. It was like my immune system could not handle anything. Um, so at that time, I started to see a specialist, a naturopathic doctor who was a Lyme disease specialist. And I started taking herbs and supplements that he recommended in 2021. Um, and with him was the first time that I was ever able to get lab work, blood work for Lyme disease, and it confirmed that I had four kinds of Lyme disease and many co-infections, including Bartonella. Let's see, there are so many: Bartonella, parvovirus, toxoplasmosis too. Babesia is another one I had, but also four kinds of Lyme disease, like four kinds of Lyme bacteria. So in 2021 was when I confirmed with lab work that I did have Lyme disease. Um, so that was very affirming for me because I had only thought so based on intuition, but then it was on the labs that it was true for the first time.
In this
Um,
time span, did you feel better from 2015 in 2021, or it was the same?
I improved a lot, but the main problem was that my immune system was really weak. hmm I didn't have brain fog anymore, and I didn't have as many cognitive issues, which were the main issues that I had. But I did have a lot of problems with my menstrual cycle and my immune system. hmm Yeah. And so from 2021 to 2023, I was taking a lot of supplements that the naturopathic doctor recommended.
Mhm.
Um,
What kind of
and
supplement?
it was a lot of herbal supplements and just some vitamins and very specialized like vitamin supplements that are good for like immune regulation and things like that. Um, and some herbal tinctures as well that were for Lyme disease and co-infections.
Mhm.
The the thing was that at the beginning we would always do my labs, and at the beginning, it said I had Lyme disease and all these co-infections, and throughout the 2 years, my labs were not changing. There was not improving. The Lyme disease was not, the numbers were not going down. I was starting to feel better and better, like my immune system was stronger, but the numbers of the Lyme disease stayed the same.
So symptoms improved, but numbers were the same.
Exactly. So I was starting to get really frustrated because part of why I really wanted the numbers to go down was because I want to have a child. And so it felt important to me not just to feel better, but to know that my body, didn't have Lyme disease or didn't have all of these infections going on at the same time. Because, if the body has eight different kinds of infections, and it's hard for the things to function correctly. So I really wanted to see the numbers in my lab change. I wanted everything to say I'm negative for Lyme disease. The numbers have gone down, but I saw no improvement in that part with the herbs and the supplements. Again, my symptoms improved. I was feeling a lot better all the time.
And your partner,
Um,
did he follow you in this protocol? So he went with the Western medicine.
no, he wasn't my partner anymore after that first year of Lyme disease. So he was on his own journey. Um, But yeah, so I was speaking to a friend in 2023, in the spring of 2023, just another friend who had Lyme disease, and I said, I wish there was something in the world that we knew would just work so that we could do it because I would do it. It was like I would do anything to just have these numbers on my labs look different, go down, improve, even just improve. Because across the 2 years that I was seeing the naturopathic doctor, my symptoms improved, but the labs did not improve. And so
Mhm.
I said to this friend, I wish there was something we knew just worked. And that friend said, actually, I just picked up this book from a free pile about this woman who healed from chronic Lyme disease with a special kind of fasting. And I was like, please tell me everything.
Did you know about
So,
the water fasting? So did you first, did you practice water fasting previously? And did you hear
mhm,
before about dry fasting before this book?
mm, I had not practiced water fasting before. I knew people did that, but I didn't know why. I didn't know a lot about it. Um, and I did not know about dry fasting. I
Mhm.
knew that a lot of cultures, like indigenous cultures around the world, do fasting. So I had some sort of idea that it was healing and important because it's important to indigenous culture. They do it as part of ritual and ceremony. Um, but I had never tried it. It had never crossed my path as a possibility. So this friend on this phone call said, I read this book and this woman healed from chronic Lyme disease through fasting. And I said, I have to look up this book. I ordered the book right away. I looked up Dr. Filonov. I read the book in 1 week and I said, this is what I have to do. My intuition told me this is just what is next. This is what you have to try.
Mhm.
Um,
Were your
so
initial steps toward practicing dry fasting?
mhm,
How long did it take? So it was springtime, autumn time. So in 6 months, you prepared yourself for long fast.
mhm. Yep.
First
So
mentally and then physically.
yeah, in May was when I found out about dry fasting. So that was the first time after I had a consultation with Dr. Filonov in May. I tried a 2 day, well, I did actually the 21-day program in May. So I did the water fasting and then 2 days of dry fasting in May.
From the very beginning, from your start, it was 2 days of dry fasting.
Yeah.
Great job.
And then, yeah, and I felt great after that short dry fast. I was like, wow, this is exciting. Um, I just felt like more energy, more alive, more clear. A lot of clarity is what I have felt after dry fasting. Clarity mentally, clarity physically, clarity almost spiritually too.
That made you believe that it can work.
hmm Yeah, and so I did 2 days in May, and then in July, I did a 3 day dry fast. And that was the preparation I was able to do before November when it was the Montenegro trip for the 9 day dry fast. So I did 2 days in May, 3 days in July, and in September, September of 2023, I got lab work done just to see what my labs looked like before I went to Montenegro in November to have an idea of what did the labs look like. So after doing 2 days of dry fasting and then 3 days in July and getting my labs done in September, the numbers on my labs had gone down by half. So I said, oh, what I'm doing in September is going to work because doing the 2 days and the 3 days helped a lot in
Mhm.
my labs. And so that gave me even more trust that what I was going to do in November for the 9 day dry fast was going to help because I saw my numbers on my labs improve for the first time ever in September. And so that was the preparation I did.
Yeah, perfect. I really I'm glad you started to receive these improvements so fast, so quickly. At the same time, I don't want to sell miracles here.
Right.
Because what I realize that people think that jumping into long fast, it's easy. And since others had results, means that we also can do it just without preparation. This, I do not want to foster this infantile mindset, because I know that like doing with you now interview, having posted recently interview with Guido Costa, I don't know if you have seen, it's an Italian medical doctor. You've got also him, he has cured his bowel cancer with one long fast, only one, same as you, one long fast. Why? As I understand, I see this link, this connection, why people manage to do that. Because he did, for example, in his life journey, regularly, weekly water fast, regularly. He was conducting a healthy lifestyle. He was doing physical activities. He's been practicing yoga. So it's a life preparation before you really jump into something very challenging. Same with you. From what I'm hearing, you were not taking medications. You were conducting super healthy lifestyle. Yes, you were not fasting, but you are young. You are not super intoxicated, even though Lyme disease, it's intoxication in any case, but you were trying to conduct a very healthy lifestyle. Because for me, I really want to underline this topic, because I realize that people sometimes can confuse, can receive this misleading message. Preparation is the key. In your case, it was not only intense preparation before long fast, but life journey, by what I'm hearing. You're always on herbs.
Absolutely. Yes, I've been taking.
Yes, super attentive to your nutrition. Same with like Guido Costa, that has cured himself with one long fast. For life, he was regularly water fasting, eating well, physical activity. And then he jumped into long fast. And that was the key of success, the preparation. I want to understand this very well. Miracle, as I wanted to say that so much, miracles do not happen from nowhere. They are results of your everyday choice, your discipline, your regularity. It's miracles we create ourselves.
Right.
I want really people to get clear message out of this interview, because you are an example that yes, it can be done. Yes, you can cure, but you have to be aware what you are bringing on the plate, what kind of lifestyle you're bringing on the plate before long fast. This I want to get clear.
That feels so important to share. Thank you, Sveta, because from 2015 until 2023, how many years is that? All of those years, I spent dedicating every single day with so much discipline to taking care of my body. That was like my main job during those years.
I realize that people that are saying, without preparation, just got there, without thinking. And people who say that means that they are not aware, they do not know, they do not realize the journey that was done before this outcome.
Right.
This is not only about health, it's about all good results that people receive. If you do not see the journey, doesn't mean it exists.
Right, right. Yeah, and something I didn't mention too is like for all of those years, I actually was practicing yoga. I was practicing meditation every day for the 2 years before doing my dry fast. So, yeah, it's like my story is so much deeper than what I'm able to
Sometimes,
share.
I ask questions, people answer, but there are so many, as you say, so many layers under that. You
Right.
just have to be aware of the preparation, that is long life preparation, before, during, like when you are conducting in a correct way. Because when people are watering themselves, it's not already dry fasting. And then they are writing nothing helped. But we know that not exactly correctly dry fasting was conducted. And then afterwards, like you are saying that you take care about nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
You take care about maybe deficiencies that you have. You take care about the holistically. It's a holistic approach. Miracle. It's like dry fasting. It's not that it will heal you from everything, and then you don't have to do anything.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
really want to make it clear, because people think that they fast once. Maybe someone already knows that, okay, maybe 2 times, 3 times, that's all. No, it's a lifestyle. It's a journey. It's a life journey. It's a commitment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me too, finding dry fasting was just like, this is another important tool to continue to take care of my body.
This is very
So it's,
much my approach on taking responsibility over yourself. Yeah.
yeah.
I ask you why you have chosen, because I understand the book that you have read with Michelle, that immediately jumped into consultation with Dr. Filonov program. But did you consider to participate in dry fasting retreats, maybe around you, like next to you somewhere? Because there are different people that organize dry fasting retreats. Why you decided to trust Dr. Filonov besides the book?
Mm-hmm. Well, I hadn't known about other people, but when I had a consultation with Dr. Filonov, I felt I could feel his humility and his sincere wish to help people, to support people with their health. It didn't feel like a weird gimmick or someone like trying um, to trick people. It felt like he has just a very sincere heart and a very sincere wish to support people. And so I felt that energy from him. And and I also did appreciate Michelle's stories about him in the book. And so, yeah, it felt like, oh, this person actually just wants to help people in their journey to take care of their health. And I have a strong intuition, so I can feel people's energy really clearly. And I felt that trust because also because Dr. Filonov is a medical doctor, but also has the holistic side. And so that helps me trust him too, that he understands holistic medicine, but he also has the medical side. But he understands like traditional medicine from where he grew up,
Yeah.
and he understands his learnings are from paying attention to the land, to animals, and that helped me trust him too because he's paying attention to the natural world to learn about how our bodies heal. And that's where I was coming from. Is like I trust my body, I trust the earth and what the medicine of the earth is. And so it really supported me in trusting like this is someone that I can seek guidance from because he's aware of the importance of holistic medicine, but also has the medical skills.
Yes, it's a
Hmm.
unique combination. I totally agree with you. Thank
Hmm.
you for sharing. Coming back to your dry fasting.
Hmm.
What was the most challenging aspect? Because you've dry fasted at home only 3 days maximum, right?
Hmm.
What was the most
Yes.
challenging aspect of your dry fast during your retreat?
During the retreat, hmm, I actually thought it was going to be more challenging.
But I'm saying that it's the most challenging practice in your life for all people. Actually, for me, it was because I have done so many practices
Yes.
in life. So for me, it was the most challenging. And you say now that it was not so
No,
challenging.
but it was. It's interesting. I came home and I tell people it was the most challenging thing I have ever done on purpose.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of what was difficult was having trouble sleeping. Um, Also, we as humans, we're used to distracting ourselves with our phones, with our screens, and my brain couldn't look at a phone during it. I thought I was going to be able to listen to music or watch movies or do something to pass the time. But that was the hardest part, I think, just being with my own mind. Um, I also think it made it easier that I had been practicing meditation for all the 2 years before. But yeah, I wanted to be able to sleep more. Not sleeping was I slept like 3 hours and then I would wake up and I would sleep 3 more hours. I think I was sleeping more than other people, so I was grateful for that. Um, but what really made it less challenging was the walking.
Mm.
And I made a friend during my retreat that we just walked together every single day. And being able to walk in the town there in Montenegro, um, and look at the plants that were around and the ocean, like being able to be present with my surroundings really helped every day. I think if we hadn't been in that beautiful place, it would have been more challenging.
Yeah, it's a very
Um,
beautiful place, beautiful nature.
mhm.
Or did you manage, did you have enough energy to walk every day?
Yeah, I had enough energy to walk until I walked the 10 kilometers every day until maybe the seventh or the seventh day. Yeah. Um, After that, it felt really difficult, especially because there's that hill.
Yeah.
There's a big hill there. But having the friend to walk with, we really encouraged each other. We didn't speak during our walks. We would write each other messages on the phone if we wanted to say something because we were trying to conserve our water. So we never spoke to each other during our walks. We just walked together and we would take breaks when we needed to towards the end. But having that person, we didn't know each other. We didn't know anything because we weren't talking. But we were just like, let's walk together. And that was a huge, huge help to just have that encouragement and that companionship
So you
during
were
the walk.
up to day 9.
Yes.
Mhm.
Maybe not on the last day. I actually I broke my fast on day 8.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
remember exactly. So how long did you fast? On day 8, you broke your fast, means that you have fasted only 7 days.
So let's see. I water fasted one day before, and then I started my dry fast. Um, and then yeah, so I no, I made it today.
If we speak about only about dry fasting days, how many days have you done? You broke on day 8. Maybe now I remember, like 1 year has.
Yes.
So you did only 7 days total of dry fast, including
Yes.
1 day of water fast. Wow.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Why did you exit? You couldn't.
Um, that day, I asked Dr. Filonov to check my blood pressure. I didn't feel I didn't feel weird or anything, but I just walked in that day and I said, "Can you check my blood pressure?" Um, I didn't feel any different, but my blood pressure was too low for what it's supposed to be while you're dry fasting. I
Mhm.
had a feeling like something was, yeah, something needed to be checked out that day.
Mhm.
hmm
We made
And
it.
that was my birthday also.
Yeah, now I
So I
remember.
ended up breaking my fast on my birthday.
And it was the greatest, biggest gift to your life
Yes.
on your birthday.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very,
I chose that retreat because it was across my birthday. I said I'm gonna be reborn on my birthday.
and you were.
hmm
How long did it take for you to exit? Like intense exit, the most intense days of exit. How many of them for you?
Um, while I was in Montenegro,
Mhm.
um,
People are very curious to understand when they start functioning normally. So that's why I want to hear, like the
mm,
most difficult days of exit. How many of them?
I had, I think, 2 really difficult days. I was, I think, feeling really tired.
Mhm.
Um, I know a lot of people around me were feeling a lot worse than me, but I felt really tired for about 2 days. And after that, I started to feel more myself. Some people were having the normal resurgence of symptoms. Um, it's just when you're exiting the fast. But I think because of what we were talking about, all of the preparation that I had done before for those all those years, my exit was not as difficult as other people's. I
And
had a couple of days of feeling really tired, and then I started to feel sort of not normal, but better. hmm
question, during dry fasting and on exit, what kind of symptoms did you of your disease did you feel on dry fasting and on exit?
Mm-hmm. Um, I didn't experience any symptoms of like my disease during dry fasting.
Mhm.
That's like the main things I experienced that were really difficult were my body feeling really hot,
Yeah,
which is
it's not symptom of Lyme disease.
right. It's not. It's
It's
not.
it's
But I
just
think,
dry fasting.
yeah, again, I think because I had done so much work beforehand, it was like not as intense as it could have been if I hadn't already done all of that work.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. I just
hmm
did in July, a few months ago, 7 days I've been in Altai. So I see
hmm
the difference from the first long fast that I did. I see the difference of these years of this healthy journey of myself. It's
Yeah.
preparation, even though it's not intense preparation, but life preparation is the key.
Yeah. And on the first, like on the second and third night, which is like usually the first part of the healing, I experienced a lot of, but it wasn't strong, but just some anxiety.
Exactly.
Anxiety. And that was something that a lot of Lyme disease impacted my mental health a lot. I had more anxiety and more difficult menstrual cycles with mental health, like anxiety, a lot of like mental difficulties. So I experienced that on the second and third night of just like frustration, anxiety, but it also felt like it was just like my body's going through a hard process. So it makes sense too. Um, but yeah, I think I maybe had less of the things come up because I had already been taking such good care for
Mhm.
so many years with so much discipline.
And
Mhm.
afterwards, when you exited, when you realized that you feel yourself normal, you finally recovered from a long dry fast.
Mhm. Um, I felt really good in my body in the months after, like almost immediately. But the main thing that was a part of my recovery that was difficult was that my menstrual cycle in the, I think 2 or 3 months after the long dry fast was very horrible. My symptoms during my menstrual cycle um, is fasting impacts hormonal balance.
Yes.
Um, and so I just had horrible periods for 3 months. And then after that, I kept taking care of myself during those 3 months with herbs to help my menstrual cycle and just herbs that are like nice for the body, like even just chamomile. I'm always taking just regular herbs in my daily life. And again, continued the very good nutrition. And after the 3 months, so let's see, it's November, December, January, February. In February, my menstrual cycle, I mean, February, March. In March, my menstrual cycle was normal again. In April and May, I felt the best that I had ever felt in my entire life.
Almost half a year after.
Yeah.
This is
hmm
also the thing, like miracles do not happen immediately. Like give yourself
Yeah.
time. Do things that are suggested regularly. Sometimes we receive message 1 month after, 2 months after, 3 months after, even 4 months after. Like it didn't help. Like, but we suggested it 1 month ago. Give it a
Mhm.
try. Like it has
Yeah.
to be regular. It has to be done for months before you understand that it didn't work. Or it
Right.
worked. But
Yeah.
regularity is the key.
It helps me understand that it was because I thought I was gonna feel perfect right after.
Yeah, everyone
Um,
wishes that because you committed
yeah.
so much, you engaged in such a difficult, challenging thing. So give me results immediately.
So it was an important learning for me because I was like, oh, I have to continue to take care of my body. I have to continue to give my body what it needs, give my body good nourishment, give my body rest. Dry fasting is a big endeavor for the body. And so I needed to rest a lot during those months after as well. My body was recovering and, putting itself, like reorganizing itself. And
You
it
show
was a
so
big
much
lesson.
awareness about yourself, about your body, about your like approach to life. It's a great, huge awareness, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that was really helpful for me that I've been cultivating, like listening to my body, and knowing my body because I was able to take care of myself after knowing, okay, I need more. I wanted it to be better right away, but I need more rest. My body needs recovery. My body needs to have really deep nourishment.
Yes,
Hmm.
another question I wanted to
Hmm.
ask. Usually, we are suggesting to do lab tests 2 months after the retreat because people usually want to run immediately to
Hmm.
understand what happened, like to go to get results, to get improvements. I totally understand. I'm myself like this, but everything needs time.
Hmm.
Did you immediately do lab tests after 2 months after the retreat, or you waited for all
Mm.
this span of time?
Yeah, so I did lab. I waited 2 months.
You waited two
As
months.
soon as it was the 2 month, I did my labs.
Okay. I was thinking that you were one that waited for 6 months to recover totally.
No, I needed to know.
Okay.
You guys told me 2 months, so I said, okay, 2 months, and I got my labs done. I
Like
set my alarm.
59 days. Okay, in 1 minute I go.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Hmm.
what they showed.
So, I got my lab results in so November, December, January. Yeah, I got my lab results in late January or February, something like that. Um, yeah, and those labs showed two things that felt really amazing to me. It showed I was negative for Lyme disease,
Already.
the
Okay.
first time ever. So all of the numbers negative for Lyme disease. And then a lot of the co-infections that I had were not showing up on the labs anymore. Those were viruses, bacterial infections, both kinds, viral infections and bacterial infections. They just didn't appear on the labs anymore. And then for some of them, I was just negative for
You
for the
shared that with me in February. You shared in August. Why did you wait for so long?
oh my gosh, I was just trying to enjoy living my life.
I totally understand you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes
I was like,
when something good is happening, you want to share with all the world, but you were keeping for yourself. It's only mine.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, and so my doctor, he didn't know what to say. He's a naturopathic doctor, so he's a holistic doctor too, but he didn't know what to say.
I mean, you
He
with him
he
your
he
journey, what you have done, or not yet.
Yes, I told him I was gonna dry fast and he said, I know about water fasting. He's like, you should try it and tell me how it goes. And so he was shocked. He was shocked to see, you know, 6 months before, 7 months before, my labs still had Lyme disease co-infections. And then during those labs, there was nothing.
Mhm.
The only thing I had on my labs was strep. This because I had gotten strep when I got back from the dry fasting, strep throat. So I had like the virus of strep, but that was it. Everything else negative.
Did he become curious about dry fasting?
He had a really weird reaction actually. I think he didn't know what to say. Maybe because I was putting him out of a job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was very strange, his reaction, but he
Hmm.
was like, okay, like this is great, like wow. I think he was just speechless. He didn't know what to say. I think he had never seen that before. Um, and
Great.
then I will say also, I got labs done again in, I believe it was April, May, in April.
Just to be sure.
Well, I got labs done again because I got another tick bite.
Now you know what to do if there is a tick bite.
Right. So I dry fasted again just
How
for 3 days after the tick bite. I didn't do it right away. Dr. Filonov says if you get a tick bite, you should dry fast right away. Is that correct? Like when you get it,
Mhm.
5 days. Yeah, I didn't do it because I just didn't want to. But I ended up doing a dry fast of 3 days a month later
Mhm.
after the tick bite. In April, I got labs done, and I got those labs back. It was still negative for Lyme disease, negative for everything.
So as I
So,
understand from what you are saying, you are not fasting anymore besides these 3 days.
right. I just did those 3 days, and then I got COVID for the first time ever in at the end of July. And as soon as I got COVID, as soon as I got my test that said positive for COVID, I started dry fasting, and I dry fasted for 3 days. Um, and I and I got better after 3 days of dry fasting. My symptoms improved completely, and then I was better from COVID.
You just got the tool. You know what to do if
Right.
something happens. This is
Yeah. So I'm not dry fasting regularly. The main reason is because it really impacts my menstrual cycle in
Mhm.
difficult ways. It makes my I've always had problems with my menstrual cycle since I was younger. And so I think it's my hormonal system is maybe really sensitive or but fasting really impacts my menstrual cycle. So I'm using it as a tool only if I need it. And I might use it as like do a longer one maybe once a year for maintenance, but I'm not doing it every month because it really impacts my menstrual cycle. But when I am not dry fasting now, my menstrual cycle is great,
better than it was before.
better than it was before. Yeah.
There are always delays in menstrual cycles after dry fasting, and it's totally normal. It's
Hmm.
natural because when you
Right.
dry fasting, you are cleansing your body, and same thing is happening with menstrual cycle. So it's
Right.
double the body. That's why it's a little bit overlapped. Yeah.
Right.
So maintenance, please. I really hope you will not forget about this tool to maintain yourself because once a year, once in 2 years, but it really suggested to do these practices. Michelle Slater, as you have, you know about her, she's fasting regularly every year to maintain
Mm-hmm.
herself, even though she is cured, even though she is feeling very good. Every year maintenance is very important, is the key for health.
Yeah. Yeah, and I live in a big city where there's a lot of air pollution. So even if I'm taking really good care of my body and good nutrition and everything, I'm still exposed to a lot of toxins. So that's another reason that I want to try to do maintenance dry fasting yearly, even if it's a shorter one or maybe a 5 day one. But um, yeah, it feels like I said, one of the biggest feelings I get after dry fasting is clarity. I feel clarity in my body, in my mind, in my spirit. And another thing that was really beautiful for me to experience, which maybe feels like a small thing, but before dry fasting, I never had problems breathing. I
Mhm.
just breathe normally. But after dry fasting, every single time that I have done it, I feel like I can breathe better. Like my lungs have more capacity to accept oxygen. And it's like that's one of my favorite parts after dry fasting is like I feel like I can really feel my breath in my body in a different way. So it's like that clarity.
All
Yeah.
receptors of the body are much more perceptive after dry fasting,
Mm.
definitely.
Yeah.
There is something that you is if there is something that you want to share about the retreat that people need to know if
Hmm.
they are planning to come, what you would share about the retreat.
Yeah, the retreat was invaluable. Dry fasting at home was hard. It's not impossible, but the what is beautiful about the retreat is you are there with other people who are doing this really difficult thing for their health too. So you have the support of so many other people who are there for the same reasons. And also the team, you, Sveta, everyone else on the team who does the therapies that are offered every day, to be able to connect with you and Dr. Filonov, the lectures that happen every day. It's such huge support. It really helps get through the 9 days. Um, Also, all of the therapies that are offered every day are so helpful and so beautiful. It's just all of these different kinds of holistic therapies that it's hard to access when you're just at home. And so I think like having the energy of the retreat, the energy of support, the energy of care, the support of the other people is invaluable. It's invaluable.
Thank you.
Um, yeah.
And
Hmm.
about the treatments, someone is asking, what treatments do you offer? And it's difficult to explain because, first of all, it's everyone can have its own approach. We see what everyone needs, and the treatments may differ. But how can you describe? Can you get these treatments back home? Can you get them everywhere? What can you share about the treatments? People asking me, old Slavic techniques. What else you want to know?
Yeah. Um, a lot of the things, well, like I'm remembering, for example, the bee sting therapy. I'm sure a lot of people remember that one. And all of the therapies that I experienced there were therapies that I like either didn't know about or hadn't been able to experience before. Um, I think maybe the only one that would be easier to get somewhere where you live is like the massages. Like you say, if you teach your massage therapist, this is the way to do it. But um, all of the other things that were offered were things that I can't find here where I live. I've thought about going back to Montenegro just because the therapies are like so special, but also because the energy of doing it with other people and having that support is so amazing. I haven't done a longer than 3 day dry fast at home because I'm just like I want to be doing it with the support. I could do longer. I could do it. I've done it there in Montenegro, but yeah, it's really there's nothing like being there and having the support.
Yes,
Hmm.
thank you. Just a question, since you are young and beautiful and quite fit. What about your weight?
Mm-hmm.
You gain it back
Um,
immediately? How long did it take? How
mm,
much did you lose during the dry fast and preparation?
yeah. Let's see, during the preparation at home, I think through I did the 2 day dry fast and the 3 day dry fast, I lost 10 pounds. Um, in the long dry fast, I'm trying to remember. I think I lost about maybe 10 pounds as well. And after the dry fast, the long dry fast in Montenegro, it took some time, like maybe a month, but I did gain back the 10 pounds that I lost in the long dry fast. But I have stayed at the weight that after I lost the first 10 pounds from the 2 days and the 3 days, I've stayed around that weight since the long dry fast after I gained my weight back. I think that feels like a healthy weight for my body, and so my body went back to about that weight.
Thank you for sharing, because this question is quite common on our consultations.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
is something that you want to say to people who are afraid, are concerned about dry fasting, especially mothers, brothers, sisters of those who
Yeah.
decided to participate in the retreat? Is there something that you can say, maybe about safety, maybe about, there are a lot of concerns of relatives of those who want to come.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom initially was very scared about me going. And because she read on the internet that you die after 3 days of no food and water. Um,
Serious.
yeah. And so I had a conversation with her because she knows that my intuition is very strong, and I told her this is what I need to do. Like I would like for your support, and also, there's going to be Dr. Filonov there and a whole team of people, and they've been doing this for years and years, supporting people. And so that calmed her a little bit. But in terms of the safety, like while we were there, I just saw Dr. Filonov and you and the team. You're paying attention to people every day. You're 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 looking at people, you're seeing how they feel, you're asking questions. And so that that felt like I could trust that too. And Dr. Filonov says, I think very often, like, I will not put anyone in danger's way. And I really saw him doing that. I really saw him taking care of like each person on the retreat. Some people had to exit the fast sooner because they were not doing well or not feeling well. And so I really see it's true that he will not put anyone in danger's way. Um, so some people, made it, and then so many people made it through day 9. And so um, I always joke and I tell people, they're like, wow, but they ask me, don't you die after 3 days of no food and water? And I said, I was there with 30 people, none of us died.
You know what I can say to this, like old you is dying and
Yes,
new you is being reborn. So
exactly.
old you
Yeah.
is dying.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so
It
much.
is a rebirth.
Very valuable. So this means that we will see you quite soon, if not now, next year. I give you the time to recover from the shock of long fast because I know it happens. And really wish you all the best. Continue with your holistic approach, continue
Thank you.
with your healthy lifestyle patterns, because this really helps, because only by our example, we can transmit how things can be changed. You cannot teach
Yeah.
theoretical information, but only practical, and you are your own example. Thank
Mhm.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really happy to see you again. So beautiful
Mhm.
and so shiny. So see you very soon. Uh,
Yeah.
year. I don't know when, but next year definitely.
Thank you so much. Thank you to you and Dr. Filonov and all the team for all of your support. Thank you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much. Bye
Okay.
bye. Take care.
You too.
Bye to
Bye.
everyone.